Let us know where you're watching from, if you enjoy stories like this. Tomorrow, we have another special story just for you. It was a sunny afternoon in Los Angeles, the sky a flawless shade of blue, reflecting the city's vibrant energy. Will Smith, the Hollywood actor known for his undeniable charisma, yet often seeking moments of genuine simplicity, was driving his car. He was heading away from a charity event, supporting underprivileged children, an event where he had spent several hours connecting, participating, and donating his time to a cause close to his heart. Feeling the pleasant fatigue of a day well spent, Will decided against heading straight home or to a fancy restaurant. Instead, he opted for something unusual, something grounded. He pulled into the parking lot of a McDonald's on a busy avenue. He just missed those quiet moments, a brief escape from the relentless scrutiny of the media. Inside, the restaurant buzzed with a warm, inviting atmosphere. Families chatted at tables. Children's laughter echoed from the play area, and the familiar scent of fries and burgers hung in the air, triggering faint, fond memories. Will entered discreetly, wearing sunglasses and a baseball cap pulled low, hoping for a slice of anonymity. He ordered a simple meal at the counter, then found a seat in a relatively quiet corner. Turning off his phone, he allowed himself a rare moment of disconnection, observing the everyday life unfolding around him. As he started eating, something caught his eye. A young boy, maybe 5 years old, with messy blonde hair and wearing a slightly faded blue shirt, kept looking over at him. In his small hands, he clutched a broken toy car. At the same table sat a man, tall and imposing in a pristine, well-pressed suit. He maintained a rigid posture, his expression serious, almost icy. The boy, Leo, seemed hesitant, his eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and a nervousness that tugged at Will's attention. Will offered a subtle, friendly smile, finding the child's earnest gaze endearing, before returning to his meal. But Leo continued to watch him, as if summoning the courage for something important. Will couldn't ignore the palpable tension emanating from the boy's table. The man, Mr. Peterson, cast disapproving glances that seemed to follow Leo's every move. The contrast was striking. Leo, small and vulnerable. Peterson, exuding an aura of cold authority and control. Leo's restlessness grew with each passing minute, his small fingers tightening around the broken car. Finally, he did the unexpected. With visible trepidation, he slid down from his chair, clutching the toy car tightly to his chest. His gaze remained locked on Will as he cautiously navigated between tables. The ambient noise of the restaurant seemed to fade slightly, time slowing down as the small boy approached. Seeing him coming, Will put down his burger and turned fully to face him, a gentle, encouraging expression on his face. Leo's expression was a heart-wrenching mix of fear, determination, and fragile hope. He leaned in, his small body trembling almost imperceptibly. He opened his mouth, but his voice was barely a whisper, lost in the restaurant's hum. Will instinctively leaned closer. Leo began, then stopped, glancing back towards Peterson. He leaned in again, his whisper urgent, brushing against Will's ear. Whatever Leo said, it wiped the calm expression from Will's face. He turned pale, his mind racing. This chance meeting was rapidly shifting into something far more serious. He immediately reached for his phone, his fingers hovering over the keypad. But just as he was about to dial, Peterson, the man at the table, abruptly turned his sharp gaze towards Will. A shiver, cold and unwelcome, traced its way down Will's spine. Peterson rose to his feet, meticulously adjusted his suit jacket, and began walking towards them. Leo, appearing even smaller now, stood frozen, the broken toy car his only shield. His eyes held a desperate urgency that Will couldn't ignore. The restaurant, moments before a backdrop of casual noise, now felt charged with unspoken threat. Will quickly knelt down to Leo's level, his voice deliberately calm and soothing. "Hey there, Leo. It's all right. You can tell me what's going on." Leo hesitated, his free hand twisting the hem of his faded shirt. His eyes darted towards Peterson, who was now observing them, phone still in hand, his gaze disturbingly cold. Fear flickered across Leo's face, and he quickly looked away from the man. Peterson approached, his steps measured and confident. Though his expression remained controlled, a flicker of annoyance, maybe even alarm, danced in his eyes. He stopped a few feet away, forcing a smile that didn't reach them. "Sorry to bother you," Peterson began, his voice smooth but firm. "Is my son bothering you?" Will slowly stood up, naturally positioning himself between Leo and the approaching man. He met Peterson's gaze directly, holding it. Years of reading people on and off screen kicked in. His instincts screamed that something was wrong. "Not at all," Will replied, his own smile relaxed, but his eyes watchful. "Actually, Leo was just showing me his car. Impressive engineering, even with the customization." He gestured lightly towards the broken toy. Peterson's eyes narrowed for a fraction of a second before his polite mask slipped back on. "Ah, yes, he's very attached to that thing." He extended a hand towards Leo. "Come on, Leo, it's time for us to go." Leo instinctively stepped back, partially hiding behind Will's leg. The small movement seemed to test Peterson's thin patience. His smile faltered, replaced by a sigh laced with irritation. "Look, I appreciate you keeping him entertained, mister." He paused, clearly expecting Will to identify himself. Will ignored the implied question. "Commitments can wait a minute, can't they?" he countered smoothly, keeping his tone light but firm. "I think Leo needs a moment. He seemed pretty keen to talk about this car. Maybe we can figure out how to fix it first." He glanced towards a passing waitress, raising his voice slightly. "Excuse me? Could we get a juice for the little guy here? He looks like he could use something." The waitress paused, looking uncertainly between Will and Peterson, then nodded hesitantly and moved off, though not immediately towards the drink station. Peterson's jaw tightened. "I really don't think that's necessary. We have somewhere to be." "Do you?" Will asked, his voice still calm but carrying a new edge. "Because Leo seems to feel differently." He held Peterson's gaze, a silent challenge passing between them. He subtly angled his body, shielding Leo more effectively, while discreetly pulling out his phone again under the table's edge, typing a rapid message to an emergency contact. He knew he had to act fast, but carefully. Peterson noticed the movement. His voice dropped, becoming low and menacing. "I don't know what game you think you're playing, but this has gone far enough." Will pocketed the phone and met the threat head-on, his expression serious now. "I'm just trying to help a kid who looks like he needs someone to listen. Is there a problem with that?" Suddenly, Leo, still clutching his car, spoke up, his voice trembling but audible. "Please, I don't want to go. Can I stay here?" Peterson's face hardened into a mask of fury. He stared daggers at Will, who remained composed, though acutely aware he was navigating a minefield. One wrong move could endanger the terrified child beside him. He had sent the message. Now he had to buy time. The air crackled with tension, a silent confrontation in the midst of oblivious chatter and laughter. Just then, the waitress reappeared. She approached their table, notepad in hand, seemingly to take an order. As she placed it down near Will, she subtly slid a folded piece of paper, like a napkin, beside his hand. Will picked it up with a slight nod of thanks, his heart pounding. He glanced down quickly. Cops on the way. 2 minutes. Relief washed over him, but he knew the danger wasn't over. He gave Leo a small, reassuring squeeze on the shoulder. Trying to steer the conversation back to safer ground, Will turned to Leo. "So, tell me more about this car, champ. What happened here?" Leo started to answer, but Peterson abruptly slammed his hand on the table, rattling the salt shaker and drawing nearby glances. "That's enough questions, Reeves," he snarled, mistakenly using Will's real last name, perhaps from recognition or sheer agitation. "This is none of your business." Will leaned forward slightly, his voice dropping but losing none of its intensity. "A scared kid asking for help makes it my business. Your son seems terrified, and if his mother is involved, like he whispered," Will bluffed slightly, watching Peterson's reaction, "then it's definitely my business." Peterson flinched almost imperceptibly at the mention of the mother. He stood there for a tense second, his eyes darting around, realizing he was losing control. Just then, the flashing lights of 2 police cruisers bathed the McDonald's entrance in red and blue. Officers stepped out, their movements purposeful as they entered the restaurant. Peterson saw them and shot Will a look of pure venom. "You've made a big mistake," he muttered, taking a half step towards the exit. Will instinctively moved closer to Leo, shielding him. The glass door swung open, and 2 uniformed officers, a tall man, Miller, and a female officer, Davis, strode in. Their eyes quickly assessed the scene, drawn by the palpable tension. The waitress discreetly nodded towards their table. Will remained calm externally, but felt Leo grip his arm tightly, the boy's body quivering. He knelt beside him. "It's okay," he whispered reassuringly. "They're here to help now." Officer Miller spoke first, his voice calm but authoritative. "We received a call about a potential issue here. Is everything all right?" Peterson forced another smile, attempting to regain control. "Everything's perfectly fine, officer. Just a misunderstanding. I was just here with my son, enjoying the afternoon." His posture radiated arrogance. "Officers," Will interrupted, standing slowly, keeping Leo close. "I think you need to listen to what this young man has to say." Officer Davis knelt down to Leo's level, her expression kind. "Hi there, I'm Officer Davis. Can you tell me your name?" Leo hesitated, looking up at Will for reassurance. Will nodded encouragingly. "Leo," the boy whispered. "Okay, Leo," Davis continued gently. "Can you tell us what's going on? We're here to help." "Don't say anything, Leo," Peterson snapped, his composure finally cracking. "We're leaving right now." He tried to step around Will. Officer Miller moved instantly, blocking Peterson's path. "Sir, I need you to stay put for a moment." To Leo, Officer Davis said softly, "You were very brave to talk to Mr. Smith. Can you tell us why you were scared?" Encouraged, Leo mustered his courage, his voice gaining a little strength. He hurt my mom. He yelled, and she fell down. I don't want to go with him." Peterson lunged, trying to push past Miller. "This is ridiculous. He's a child making things up. My lawyer will hear about this." Miller stood firm, placing a hand on Peterson's chest. "Sir, let's clear this up first." He turned to Davis, who was already reaching for her handcuffs. "You're interfering with an investigation, sir. You need to come with us." "This is absurd," Peterson raged as Davis secured his wrists. "You listened to him over me?" He muttered threats and curses as Miller and Davis escorted him firmly out of the restaurant towards the patrol cars. The restaurant slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy, though whispers followed the officer's departure. Will knelt beside Leo, who still clutched the broken toy car. his small hands shaking. "You did great, Leo. You were so brave." Leo looked up, tears welling in his eyes. "My mom, is she okay?" "We're going to find out right now," Will assured him gently. He turned to Officer Davis, who had returned inside after securing Peterson. "He's afraid to go home alone, worried about his mom. He said Peterson locked the door." Davis nodded, her expression serious. "Can you show us where you live, Leo? We'll make sure your mom is safe." Just then, the waitress brought over a small backpack Peterson had left behind in his haste. As Davis helped Will and Leo into the back of a police car, Miller took the backpack. Inside, among other things, they found a notebook. The ride to Leo's house was tense. The street was quiet, the house dark. Miller noted the front door was slightly ajar. "Wait here," he instructed Will and Leo as he and Davis cautiously approached the house, weapons drawn. Inside, the scene confirmed their fears. Overturned furniture, signs of a struggle. They found Leo's mother, Clara, unconscious on the living room floor with a cut on her forehead. Paramedics were called immediately. Thankfully, she was alive. The notebook found in Peterson's bag contained chilling details, revealing his controlling behavior and a plan to abduct Leo and flee the state. The charges against him quickly escalated to abuse and attempted kidnapping. Later, at the hospital, the dawn light streamed through the windows. Clara rested, awake now, though visibly shaken. Leo sat by her side, holding her hand. He looked at Will with a shy smile, a silent thank you. Felt a profound sense of relief. The doctors confirmed Clara's injuries weren't severe. She would make a full recovery with rest. "You saved us," Clara whispered to Will, tears of gratitude in her eyes. Will smiled warmly, ever humble. "I was just in the right place at the right time. The real hero here is Leo. His bravery started everything." He then presented Leo with his toy car, now carefully repaired, a small symbol that broken things can be mended. Inspired by the experience, Will didn't just walk away. He contacted a local organization supporting domestic violence survivors, using his platform to raise awareness and funds. He stayed in touch with Clara and Leo, ensuring they had the resources needed to rebuild their lives safely. A few months later, Will attended a small ceremony where the police department honored Leo's courage. Leo shyly presented Will with a drawing, a stick-figure boy holding hands with a stick-figure man, labeled "My Hero" in colorful crayon. Will grinned, placing a hand on Leo's shoulder. "No, you're the hero, Leo," he said softly. "Asking for help takes the most courage of all." If you were moved by this story of courage and compassion, click the screen for more tales of hope and perseverance. Remember, sometimes the smallest voice can make the biggest difference. Thanks for watching.